And we are live. SmackDown is going off the air, ladies and gentlemen, but the Attitude Era podcast, we are here. We are in the building. I am King HP. This is Game Time Gamage. What happened today? A lot can be said of today. But I'm not impressed with what I saw on the TV on the USA Network. I don't know how you felt. I have this SmackDown as like a 5, 4.5. Multiple times went to sleep, went to do dinner with my daughters, fell asleep again, had a hard time staying up for it. There's nothing that really intrigued me. But the news.
I'm the same way. SmackDown for me was. I feel like me saying it was a 5 is me being nice, because
Yeah.
I shouldn't be losing my attention span as much as I did for it to be a 5. So I'm being nice with that.
Yeah, I thought it was a very bad episode. I think this is gonna hurt when I say this. And I mean the very best, but I think the Netflix deal is bad for wrestling. It's good for wrestling if you can maintain it. The reason I say that is because you do not. There's no higher plane than Netflix, right? Like, what streaming service are you gonna get that has more followers? You're gonna get more eyes. Nothing can provide you more than Netflix. Netflix, you have to give a good product. You have to. You cannot afford to, because if you lose the Netflix deal, ooh,
That's a
that's gonna hurt.
yeah.
That's gonna be what hurts. So you have to. There's really like a fine line of, I don't want to say fine line, but stars. I don't know who's on what show. They're like, John Cena will be here next week on SmackDown. Jay Uso is exclusive to Raw, which is on Netflix. So you got two champions that are doing Raw. One champion is part time on SmackDown. Um, Give me that thumbs up. You good? Got um. I, it was bad all the
Nope.
way, all the
I'm
way.
not good. I'm not
Yeah.
okay.
So I think with the Netflix deal, SmackDown suffers all the time. Um, Tonight, another episode of what the fuck. You'd be
Been a,
nice and give it a 4. Yeah,
been a
4. This is
whole
a
day.
bad episode.
Been a whole day of WTF.
You
It's
know, I am surprised by people who got released. Ashley, and I'll give you a couple reasons why I'm surprised. One, poor booking of WWE. Okay, I look at the female division, right? I'm always going to compare back to people talk about the good old days. A Kurt Angle champion has top superstars to go against, and he doesn't go against intercontinental champions, right? Not on PLEs, maybe on a Raw, but like Kurt Angle will fight the Undertaker, then he might fight John Cena, then there might be a triple threat match with him and John Cena. You know what I'm saying? The three of those guys. Then another month he's got to take on Kane, and the storyline has led you to that, right? Why am I saying that stuff? If you go back earlier, to the mid '90s, Bret Hart, Shawn's, Sid's, same thing. Every month and then you're. When I look at the female division, bro, when I look at all your champions, they're not fighting the top stars. Cody Rhodes went a whole year and didn't fight any of the top stars in the company. He didn't fight Drew McIntyre, who had a phenomenal year. He didn't fight CM Punk, who had a phenomenal year. He didn't fight Roman. He won the title from Roman Reigns at Mania. That was it. They put him on there with Solo Sikoa. He did fight AJ Styles, which is a top star, but his storyline was on the decline. The first match he took against AJ Styles took a loss at WrestleMania. The next month, AJ Styles was the guy when LA Knight had all the momentum. So that was weird. And then they rematched it. Kevin Owens, top star, but he always known for losing. And he got 4 matches on PLEs. 4. They had a match. He lost. He had another match where he didn't want to do the ankle. Remember, Cody had the ankle injury. He didn't want, right? Then they went to Saturday Night Main Event, had a stalemate, and he stole the title from him. And then they had a ladder match to settle it. How you get 4 matches and you didn't win any? Usually get a rubber match because someone wins 1. You got 4 in 12 months. You're releasing guys that booking makes the monsters. Booking tells the story. That's the reality of this. If you want Braun to be a monster, you write him up to be that way. It's not hard. If you say, hey, Braun, or hey, Shinsuke Nakamura, or hey, whomever, you're not going to do anything for a couple months, and then we bring you out, don't expect him to look what he is.
I remember about a month and a half, maybe a month and a half ago, we had a Braun Strowman conversation. You remember that?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not.
Oh, go ahead.
And I was like, I've not been sold on Braun. Here's the reality of WWE right now, man. In any business, the thing that kills businesses, expanding a business too fast and too quick will kill a business. Even in the case of a company like the WWE. The WWE has been growing and growing and growing, right? And that's it. But they've not been growing and maturing and creating the product with what you have, right? It's like if you have a restaurant and you go from this little building to this large building, you need more cooks, you need more product, you need more. WWE has
more menus.
The WWE has just been growing, and we've been watching people sit for months, damn near years sometimes, right? We had the conversation about Shinsuke. Where was Shinsuke? He came up, showed up for a little bit, and left. The thing that's surprising about some of these releases, these were people, they may not have been main event in PLEs, but they were in prominent spots, at least over the past few months. Jakara and Lash, they wrestled the champions.
Yo, let me ask you, let me say this too on
Hold
this
on
note,
real quick,
Vinny.
HB. Thorpe, he was in the main event with Trick Williams just a couple weeks ago. Cora Jade, injuries do happen, but before that, she was the it girl. We had a whole argument about Cora Jade on this podcast. Gallus can wrestle.
She had just came back. Remember, she came back with Julian and all of
Gallus can really wrestle, but we know wrestling is not what keeps you in the company now. These were people who were in good spots that could have been used in other places. We watched Shayna Baszler spin her wheels for years. We watched Braun Strowman spin his wheels for years. And as much as I may not have been a fan of Braun after he got fired the first time, he was in prominent spots. Braun was the monster amongst men. Like, these are people that could have been used. They weren't being used. Now they don't have jobs. Gamaj said this, Gamaj said this was coming. I said this was coming when they start expanding and growing. And they just have a lot to handle right now. And they don't have the people to handle it with care. You sent us like 4 pages of available jobs in the WWE right now. We're talking about writers. We're talking about producers. We're talking about everything. The WWE is hiring, doing a mass hiring and firing right now. So the people they do have, they won't really get catered to, and we're not getting the product we should get for the amount of time we've seen on TV. We had this conversation here too. It was one PLE. It was like 5 hours long, and it was like 2.5 hours worth of fluff. You have people that can fill that, but they're not. And for some reason, it's been the same 4 or 5 names in rotation. So you don't even see these people. And I don't want to see nobody lose a job, right? Especially in the wrestling business, because here's the other reality of it. We just said WWE bought AAA. They're working with TNA. They work with Evolve, LFG. They work with Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes School, and who else School? Seth Rollins, Cody, Booker T School. So when you leave WWE or you get fired, the other options aren't that many because they've fallen under this WWE umbrella. So that's the scary part about this. You know what I'm saying? So
So
It's just
here's what I gotta say about a lot of this in the firings, and I see in Ashley saying where have they been? Answer that. I can't answer that because that's a booking issue. They've been on the roster, but here's my issue: you have ID, you have Evolve, you have TNA, you have Speed, you have NXT, right? All on different platforms. You can send somebody down to the G League. It's okay. You can send someone down to somewhere else instead of removing them. And again, when you're champions, you made titles irrelevant. Irrelevant. 100% titles don't even mean nothing. No one except for Randy Orton, and only because they're talking about Randy being 15 or John still set. But no one's like, yo, I'm about to take the championship. I want to be champion. No one has said that in like damn near 2 years. That's not a thing they say anymore. But they did talk about the Ulafala. They did talk about a bracelet, and they brought those things to the forefront. A couple other issues I have with the people you let go, right? It ain't just about wrestling. I have to in wrestling you have the wrestlers, like the grapplers, the chain wrestlers. You have the aerial assault. You have the tag team you have the brawlers, you have the big monsters. You ain't got no monsters. You just let Braun Strowman go. If you want Braun to be a monster, where's the Wyatt Six? We're coming up on a year. Not a single PLE performance. One of them supposedly got hurt with Uncle Howdy, and you took the whole team and just sent them. What are we doing? What are you doing?
And this is where I know we were happy that some of these wrestlers got a break when they start cutting back on house shows. This is what a house show is important, right? Because yes. you can see these people there, and you have people to fill these spots. I see Zell in the chat. Shout out to Zell. Shout out to the Horseman. Shout out to the Click. He said budget cuts. They're replacing people at his job in real life. I can't ever see WWE having a budget problem. They write their own checks at this point. You just signed the deal with Saudi Arabia. You got the Netflix. It's so much money. It's just weird. We'll never know. All we can do is really speculate. But budget cuts, I can't see being the reason. Now, if this was 96, when it was, struggling and going backwards, but it's a forward progress and evolution of wrestling right now. The money, and maybe that's the problem. It's I don't know, but the financial side of it, I can't see. HB's the numbers guy. So
you can't. I want to put a pin here. Go ahead, go Mash.
Now I'm gonna say I also think because they've partnered with TKO, I think TKO is really looking at their roster like, look, who you got a plan for, who you not using. You ain't got nothing. They gotta go. That would not surprise me.
Could be.
Yes. Also, don't be surprised because they're signing more deals and stuff that the money ain't funny. Right? Because you still have to fulfill obligation when the network comes back and go, okay, we got our first month numbers. Right? And they go, they're not where we wanted them to be. Hey, because think about this. John Cena has constantly been on Raw, right? But he's the SmackDown champion. That belt is exclusive to SmackDown. But he's constantly on Raw. Randy Orton is a SmackDown guy. Because their rivalry, guess what? He's been on Raw. But they're two main names, big names, right? Meanwhile, Jey Uso he's on Raw, but they ain't bringing him to SmackDown. Not like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't be surprised if the money is funny. And then if it's not the money, you just mentioned it, the positions, they're spread thin. You're spread. Marvel went through this, and we saw what happened with Marvel, where there was a huge decline. Marvel spread because it's not just Marvel spread, Disney, the corporation, right? So you only had so many people to do VFX. You only have but you got all these projects, line, boom, boom, and it became quantity over quality. WWE will put a Monday Night Raw with 5 or 6 segments of Judgment Day. And it's like, damn, can we see anybody? You almost we start saying, well, damn, where's so-and-so been? They ain't doing that. They can't. The booker has to write them in. And instead of putting this guy in and giving us 2 segments of Judgment Day, we get 5. All through. We got to make sure Dom's eating his nuggies. Then we got to see Liv and Raquel doing something in front of the camera. Then we got to make sure we see Damian Priest talking. There was when you watch these episodes, Watch how many times you see the same people throughout the show getting featured. Remember when they repackaged? What was my man who got pinned by Apollo Crews in like 30 seconds?
Oh, and he got fired, didn't
Vinny.
she?
Yeah, Vinny.
Yeah, you repackaged the man to fire him. What you do that for?
But they repackage people, bring them back, then they do nothing at all with them. That was my whole thing with Aleister Black. We got the same Aleister Black that we had before. It was nothing different, no tweak. It wasn't an update. Hell, we get the same Madden every year, but at least they changed the uniforms. WWE is in a weird place, and I don't know where they go. And this is the conversation we've been having for the past few months on this podcast. John Cena's on his retirement tour. The names you mentioned, the CM Punks, the Randy Ortons, and more recently, Naomi, Bianca Belair. These are people who either are retiring, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, either retiring or taking a break from wrestling. You have to start building your stars for the future. And you don't build them by getting rid of them.
Sooner than later.
Because everybody that got released, I feel had potential to do something. I saw Daddy Hunter in the chat said, Caden and Chance haven't been doing nothing lately, but at one point they were really getting pushed and they were tag champs. That's something to put on the resume.
But here's
right?
the thing.
That was one of the legit
this isn't
teams.
This isn't the NBA. It ain't like, hey, I put you in the game for 3 minutes, and in the 3 minutes you was 0 for 3, 2 turnovers, and your defensive assignment also scored. Like, if I track, I have to book you. I have to put you in. And the tag team division is horrendous. They lack tag team. Why am I getting rid of female tag teams? And I don't give them a shot, even if I have tag teams to get beat, but they pick up small wins. And because SmackDown's starting to get it right with their men's tag team, they're starting to. You got Street Profits, you got Pretty Deadly, you got Los Garos, you got Motor City Machine Gun. Like they're constantly in. You need to get rid of War Raiders, New Day tag titles and make one, and so they can go around. And now there's beef between them, and then there's you can build up to it. It's something to be champion.
And here's something else, HQ, we've been talking about too on this podcast recently. We've been talking about the social media superstar, right? Shout out to Hot Facts. Where you been at, gang? I think part of it's the company. I also think part of it is the talent too. What have we seen Trick Williams do over the past few months? Release music. I saw Montez Ford drop a crazy video after that TLC match. We've seen people make themselves hot and relevant by doing things outside of the company that we have 100% knowledge of that the company either didn't approve or didn't tell them to do. We said that. Zack Ryder, perfect example. He got hot from calling himself the internet champ, and it just went crazy. He ended up winning the IC title at WrestleMania. I think part of it's the company, but if I'm sitting home, I got to find a way to get hot, get eyes on me, or to get them to notice me. And I think part of that's the talent too. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's a mix.
It's a mix, and that's to say the social media superstar. Because if somebody go hot and viral, there's nothing they can do. Perfect example of that, Daniel Bryan. I'm pretty sure they had no intent on doing anything that happened with Daniel Bryan. But the Yes movement became so big, he ended up having 2 matches at WrestleMania 30. So
true.
Part of it's the company, is wrestling, right? Like you said, HP, it's not like we playing football and we got a basketball, we got the small rotation, the big rotation. This is literally, if I don't say, hey, Gamaj, you're doing this week, Gamaj has nothing to do. So
it has nothing to do. Bro, if you suck but sell merch and put butts in seats,
the ratings haven't been there since the Netflix deal. The Netflix ratings came in pretty hot, then they start declining. It's something going on, and it's like maybe Gamaj is right. You got a new management come in. Normally, what new management does when they come into a company is clean house.
Yep.
That's
what's funny?
And so they probably looking at these names like, yo, who's this person? Why are we paying this person $200,000 a year and they're not doing it? We don't see the work in that, right?
We're not using them. They're at
And
home.
you know what the biggest, you know what I think the real reason this is happening? Today's The Rock's birthday. And we know The Rock ruins everything.
He's
Dwayne
gonna throw
Johnson
them
gonna
happy
find a
53rd
way.
birthday to the
He
Rock.
gonna find a way to you know what I'm saying? But shout out to The Rock, man. Happy birthday to Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
No,
But it's a scary
I
thing. A scary
I
thing.
do have this to say because in kind of like what Zell's saying, right? Like Jay Uso's always on camera, he's selling merch. That could be a weird number if you're looking at it. Because one, WWE waited way too long to give him these shots, right? So now he might cool off fast because the Yeet was supposed, and then you booked him horrible at WrestleMania. Instead of
Yeah.
giving a 1, 2, 3, crowd explodes. He tapped Gunther
Had
tapped
a
when no one
weak tap
expected.
out.
Like it almost felt like a fluke, and so we like what? Wait, what? The match over? So now Dom gets the biggest pop, and rightfully so. But damn, you know what I'm saying? Like why Dom get you? What the hell are y'all doing? And I know you know the suspense of Triple H ain't dumb to wrestling. He ain't dumb to wrestling. That man knows. They know how to book a match. They know about this is what Bret Hart used to always talk, the psychology of a match. That's why Bret was so great, because if
But
I am
here's the
small,
thing, HP.
I
I don't mean to cut you off, but you said something that's very important. Triple H knows wrestling, right? Michael Cole a month ago said WWE is not a wrestling show or company anymore.
It's an entertainment.
The entertainment
right.
company is a TV
But
show that it's a, you know what it is? You know exactly what it is? Remember WCW, right? And I hate to make this comparison, but this is how it makes sense in my mind. We recap who killed WCW on this podcast, right? What was the biggest problem with WCW? It was run by a bunch of TV executives that did not want the show. They didn't care about it. You know what I'm saying? Bischoff, that's how Bischoff got it. Nobody wanted, nobody cared about it. It just so happened to be doing these crazy numbers. And that one show made up for a lot of lapses and negatives in the company. That wrestling show that nobody wanted was keeping the lights on. You got a bunch of TV executives, UFC people, and people from different walks of life in the wrestling business now, and we don't know how they feel about the wrestling business. We don't know if they like the wrestling business. We don't know if they can do the wrestling business. Triple H might be the only one in that building fighting for his life and fighting for things that he may be outvoted on, and he might not have the final say in.
Speaking of that, I really firmly believe The Rock doesn't know wrestling. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, you've been in the business. I get you, but
Bro,
Michael
Michael
Jordan,
Jordan,
who,
arguably the
like,
GOAT.
like,
Anything he's
hold on,
done
hold on, hold on, hold on,
outside of
hold on,
on the
hold on,
court, it
hold on,
didn't
hold on,
work.
hold on. And that's the point I'm making, right? So when you have a guy, just because you're the most popular guy or you got over as the guy, now you're the brains behind it, doesn't mean that you know how to work a match. You know how to develop storylines. You know how to develop character. It doesn't mean that you know how to work the psychology of the match from the start to the end. And what I mean where this is going is because we watched in real time The Rock go on Pat McAfee and just blame everybody else. Say he like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we ain't never had a plan. So, and I don't want to see you even use the word kayfabe, but you're just giving us a behind the scenes look at everything y'all do is a scramble. Everything you do is a fucking scramble. And if that's the case, how far is the company going to go? You can't show up to game day with no plans and keep expecting wins. It's only so far the talent can take you. So there has to look. The 96 Bulls are great, but they had a coach. You know what I'm saying? Phil Jackson was the mastermind behind that. The Lakers' crazy playoff run only happens because not just because of talent, there's a mind behind it, X's and O's, and then I need the talent to execute or go above and beyond.
But here's the thing about Phil Jackson. Great analogy. Here's the thing about Phil Jackson. You have to have a coach, an owner, and an organization that your players believe in and want to play for. and you're going to get the best out of them. If you don't have a coach or organization, players want to play for, get behind, you're done. I don't care how good you are. If people don't believe in what they're doing and the product, it's just not going to work. I say this all the time. If your old linemen don't like their quarterback, that quarterback can have a long day on Sundays. So you have to have people that want to play for you and believe in what you're doing. It's a very weird thing. We watch wrestling. The wrestling world that we knew doesn't exist anymore. It's long gone, and we watched it change in front of our eyes. So very, very interesting. The cuts are going to keep coming. Probably going to get more on Monday. My thing is, how you gonna fire me on a Friday for the weekend here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been fired
Hey,
from a
you
job.
remember
They
last
let me
time they did a
work.
round of
They let me work all day and call me in at the end of the day and ain't gonna let me go. Like, come on, baby, you could have.
you remember last time they did a round of cuts? I forgot who they cut. She had already wrestled a match and it was pre-taped for SmackDown, but she was already they announced that she gone, but her match was still on SmackDown.
I
After,
think
you know what I'm saying? That was
that might have been Indy Hartwell. I think.
Yeah,
I think yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like WWE's I hate to say it, man. I think in real time, I mean, and you know, I could be 100% wrong in this one, but I think WWE is also going to be the reason in a couple of years why wrestling takes its own decline. You know what I mean? Like after the Monday Night Wars, what do we get? We got a decline in wrestling. Wrestling went back down a while. Like after it got really bad, we had the invasion, we had this, then we had the PG era, right? Ratings down again. Then we needed the Bloodline to get back up. But wrestling takes that dip. Wrestling wasn't cool.
I think we're already seeing the decline in wrestling. It just looks so good that we don't notice. And the only reason I say that is the decline in wrestling happened when wrestlers stopped being your draw. Travis Scott was involved in the main event of WrestleMania. Pat McAfee's wrestling Gunther. Logan, like these are social media stars that, okay, yeah, you had your one-offs back in the day. Lawrence Taylor, Bam Bam Bigelow was a huge thing, right? It was an oddity. It was rare. Like this ain't supposed to happen, but it was those type of things. Now you have movie stars. Bad Bunny, you know what I'm saying? He comes in. It's the wrestler is not the draw anymore. It's everything but the wrestler. Like you have the Weekend with the theme song. You have the Travis Scotts. You have the social media stars. You have all these people that's the draw, and the wrestler is not the draw. And that's the problem with wrestling. You can't you have people that aren't wrestlers that's drawing, or you reaching out to people that aren't wrestlers to draw, and that's the decline. Like
I don't know if I don't know if I hold that same sentiment because when Roman Reigns was on top, Roman Reigns was the draw. I mean, I don't think anybody can disagree with that. It was Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman's gone in depth to break that down. Everybody else is just a bonus where like
well, that's what I'm saying. Roman Reigns was the one thing, and it was so much attached to the one thing. Outside of the one thing, it was other things outside of wrestling that was the draw.
I mean, but you always do. WrestleMania 1 is filled with pop stars. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
But you
you did
needed to
bring up
get the
Pam.
ball rolling. You needed to get the eyes on it, right? You shouldn't have to reach out to the I show speed shouldn't have to caught that spear. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
You
remember,
could
it, I don't know if it's that they're using it to draw. I think WWE is using that to tap into a different audience
that's
because they're
drawing,
trying to
ain't it?
still grow. So they're trying to grow the product, and one way you grow the product, you know, is by getting on other products. That's why I mean WWE has done this for years. They send Mr. Perfect and superstars to radio shows. They
And
send
that
them
don't
to,
last. That it's a difference. I think it's a little bit of a difference
but see,
because
but you just answered it. You said that don't last. So for years before WrestleMania, right? There's the press run, and they send their top stars to TV. Why? Because it's the wrestler selling the product to mainstream America, right?
it's the
Getting on,
it's the
re-
wrestler selling. It's
right? But listen. When the wrestler's selling the product, you're only gonna bring in wrestling heads because no one knows Roman Reigns outside of wrestlers. So what did they do? And they've done this for years. Is they bring in other social people. They'll bring in a Lawrence Taylor. They'll bring in a Muhammad Ali. They'll bring in a Mike Tyson, knocks Shawn Michaels out and gets Stone Cold his first championship. You know what I'm saying? He helps. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's always happened. It's always been there because you do that.
You just named 3 athletes. That's the
Right.
point.
But
I'm
listen,
making. They're reaching out to movie stars. They're reaching out to social media stars. They're reaching out to people not even associated with this thing to try to draw. I think that's a
but
problem.
no, that's not true. Because again, Donald Trump is in the Hall of Fame. Donald Trump ain't no athlete.
We talking
Why
about
was Donald
today. I'm
Trump?
talking about today. I'm talking about today's
No, no,
wrestling.
no, no, no,
Today's
no,
product.
no. I'm talking about they've always done this. The thing about it is they're going to look at, okay, if I send a wrestler to do a commentary on a show, a very popular show, but the world is different, Archie. So who draws? If you, it ain't the WWE that's following this model. Kevin Hart goes to Kai Cenat. Cardi B goes to Kai Cenat. They go to ISO Speed. The world is now on the internet. The internet has replaced cable television. So you can't be in the dinosaur way of thinking and go, hey, we're sending so and so to Conan O'Brien tonight. No one really watches Conan O'Brien that much anymore. It's not that philosophy. I have to bring the guy. That's why Triple H said, hey, you can stream from the gorilla position. You can, because guess what? He's got 2 million streamers active all the time. So the philosophy is the same, but how it looks and plays out is now different because the world is different.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I think the decline. That's the decline of wrestling. Wrestling is that. I think that's it. To where you're doing things you've never done. You're losing
We've
the
always done it.
fans.
What do you mean? That's why I just broke down and you
It
agreed, and
was
now you're
it
saying the
was it
opposite.
was different though, bro.
Like let
Macho Man
me
and them going on
say.
Arsenio Hall was a step up for wrestlers. That was a big deal. That was huge.
So let me add on to that. Even though it's always happened before, it's never happened so consistently now. It's happening way more now than it did back then. It's not a rarity anymore for that to happen. It's almost too common.
I can see you. I can see you in that, I'm not really going to disagree because here's where you got lucky. Some of these guys want to come and join the WWE and be in capacity, so it's like shit. We could take advantage of this. Versus before, you had to reach out to them. We got to get wrestlers on our scene. We got to put Akeem, the African Dream, who ain't even black, which is crazy, on Arsenio Hall with the big boss man that's slick. We got to do it. We got to do it because everybody watches Arsenio Hall tonight. There's a whole audience. Now people watch IShow Speed. If you send a WWE superstar over there, people tune out. Why don't we bring IShow Speed to us? Okay, that works. You're right. They probably do it at a
And you
more
know why
frequent
it's a
clip.
common thing, Gamaj? Because it's going to. That's what I'm saying. It's a reverse. It's going to pop, but only for the moment. So they have to keep having the moment. Instead of having a good product to draw eyes, you got to have specialties, right? Like, and that's the problem. You have to keep doing something that's not going to sustain. So it pops, then it drops. So that's why it happens so much.
Well, that
That's
too.
why you get a Logan Paul with a title and you don't see him. No knock on him in the ring because Logan can wrestle, but that's why you see that.
No, but what's part of that? You get the prime deal with them, and then you're sending superstars to do his show on his podcast, right? All of that's incorporated in that deal, and it's to get the product out there. Because again, WWE in 2025 is way different than WWE in 2015, and it's even further than that from 2005 and 1995. In those 10 years, substantial growth, but the way that people receive information is vastly different. The average person has that 60 to 50 to 60 inch TV in their home and they spend more time watching their phone than they do the TV that they pay for.
And you know me, I'm not a fan of people hopping on trends and doing something just because it worked for somebody else don't mean it's going to work for you. I think a wrestling show should be based around wrestlers and wrestling, but like I said, we know this ain't a wrestling show no more. It's a TV show. It's damn near a social media show, and that's the reality of it. We're not even looking at a wrestling show no more.
You're 100% correct.
It's a TV show that
Frank,
has wrestling on it occasionally.
and very occasionally, like you watch a whole show of promos, and
And let
vignettes.
me and let me ask you this question. Since we said at one point like wrestlers like Roman Reigns are a draw, right?
Yeah,
When
100%.
was the last time we had a wrestler that was a big draw that was not a part timer?
You're gonna have to go back to like Randy Orton's, John Cena's.
Because I think that's another problem. Because you can't really rely
That's
on a
almost
part
about 10
timer.
years ago. Like the funniest part about that, that's almost 10 years ago. Like we hear those names like, oh, they're in the company. But what the era I'm talking about is around WrestleMania 30. Because Brock really kicks that off when he does the UFC deal. And they almost lose Brock to the UFC. Part of Brock's thing is I'm not gonna be here every week. I'm not trying to do that to my body, blah, 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 blah. But now I'm the draw. They
And
put
see,
him on
that's
famous.
that's where I go back to the conversation. Brock Lesnar's rarity, the Undertaker streak, all that was the draw. Remember, we gotta see what Undertaker gonna lose this Mania or not. That was the draw. We know Brock coming at SummerSlam. That's the draw. But it was still wrestlers drawing. Now it's who's Logan Paul gonna wrestle? Is Ishow Speed gonna show up?
I'm so happy you said that, brother. You said the Undertaker streak was the draw. So you know what ruined it wrestling? The internet. I'll tell you exactly why. You know when the Undertaker lost his streak? You were in the building, I believe.
Yeah,
But one thing you may not realize is that's the first WrestleMania where the WWE network was used. And I gave the product away and there was no longer the PPV. Without having to sell a $50 product, I don't have to do it. I gave it
you
away for
gotta
$10
figure something
to get
out.
to give now that I have everyone who can see it for $10, which 10 times 1 million is 10 million. I just made $10 million on this. I don't have to market the pay-per-view the same way. The premium live
You
event
can't.
and so well, it's not that you can't. It's that I don't I don't care. I can do things different. I don't have to have the same quality. I don't championships after you start the PLEs and you start the internet, storylines start to change. I ended the streak. I don't part of the streak, part of the pay-per-view sale for Mania was what? The Undertaker streak. That's damn
Streak.
near a main event without being the main event.
And it was a draw. And
So,
okay, I'm gonna see Taker.
but
Again,
it's
like I
not
said,
the it's the draw. It's what I'm getting trying to get you to see is the internet has changed wrestling. And wrestling cannot be in that same dinosaur model that it used to be because they don't do pay-per-views. It's just like an album. Anybody who tries to sell an album in today's market, like sell an album. I don't want to put it on a streaming platform. I want it to go straight to your. It's gonna shit. Good luck. Good luck. Yeah, you might make straight cash if 10,000 people buy it, but it's hard because the average person, like, why would I pay you $10 for 12 songs when I can get $10 to get a library of music?
it's hard
You know,
if you decide to do what everybody else is doing, because for every rapper that's dropping through streaming and all this other stuff, you have your oddities like your La Russells who do it all independently. So that's the thing about waves and trends. Once everybody's doing the trend, music is the perfect example. When we were growing up, your favorite artist dropped an album every 3-4 years. You had to sit with that album. You had to wait on that album. You know what I'm saying? You had to go to the store to buy that album. Now, artists are dropping 3-4 albums in the same year. The output is so crazy. So once one artist sees that, guess what? Everybody else feel like I gotta do the same thing to catch up because things are dropping and being consumed so fast. And
right?
that's the trend. But if everybody slowed down, remember, music used to come out on Tuesdays. Then they switched it to Fridays. Remember, you a rapper, you like Ja Rule the Damager. Remember, it was
Cheers,
3
the damage.
hooks and 3/16. You used to get 3-4 minute songs. Now, a hit record is 1 minute and 35 seconds. It's the trend. So once one person do it, that works for them. Let me do it. And wrestling has become a trendy thing. And like I said, it's just I always mention NASCAR, right? I said Trackhouse. Trackhouse is one of my favorite garages and teams. One of the owners was Pitbull. So Trackhouse was an entertainment company with a NASCAR team versus a Joe Gibbs Racing, who's a NASCAR company with a NASCAR team. And the WWE has become an entertainment company with a wrestling show, not a wrestling company that puts on wrestling shows. And this is going to be a lot of changes, and we're going to see a lot of different things. But, and like I said, Michael Cole confirmed that a couple months ago. He said, this Ben stopped being a wrestling show a long time ago. We just think wrestling first because that's our wrestling fan brain. But it's not that. So, and we lived through the golden era. We lived through the Attitude Era. We lived through the 80s. We lived, you know what I'm saying? So we saw this thing become what it is. Now we're watching it become something else. And it's like, we, you know, it's just, you got either you're gonna, like you said, in the chat, Gamad said, yo, this shit keep going on. I might tap out. This is where, remember, I tell you all the time, I don't know nothing about the 2-man power trip. You know why? Because that was the time of wrestling I tapped out. You might get a lot of wrestler fans to be like, you know what? I need to take a break from this. And that happens. Everybody in this chat, I know at some point, has taken a break from wrestling for whatever reasons, but every wrestling fan takes that break. And we might be on the verge of a lot of people saying right now, I got to get off right now. And I'm going to get back on later. Might tap in around Mania time, but I need to get off this for now because I don't
some
like
people might not even tap back in because guess what? You got to give me something to tap in for. You got to give me something to tap in for. I don't want to use the thing about tapped out because it's a weird word. But I will say, I was just keeping tabs on wrestling. You know what I'm saying? I keep tabs on it. You know what I mean? And the Bloodline kind of brought me back. And because I was keeping tabs on it, was easy to keep up because I knew who everyone is. I kind of adjusted to the storylines. I don't think you're gonna get another Bloodline story. That shit was good. And if you notice, the Bloodline just
the
went away.
Bloodline works because it was interesting, but you had Roman Reigns, who's a star. Again, what makes a star in wrestling? Men want to be him, women want to be with him. Roman Reigns was that. Roman Reigns was just a cool dude that at some point we decided we started to like because at some point he was getting that John Cena forced on us treatment. So
yeah,
you made that shit up because ain't nobody ever wanted. Dozens of women weren't. Hulk Hogan was never no heartthrob, bro.
Man, you bugging. You bugging.
You want to say
Hulk Hogan? You know who was a heartthrob? And this
the heartbreak kid.
My grandmother, rest her soul, loved Michael P.S. Hayes. You talk about a different time, bro. Hulk Hogan was him.
Bro, by 1984, Hulk Hogan's not a heartthrob.
Oh, well, I ain't talking about 1984. I'm talking about star power and quality.
Bro, Hulk Hogan's biggest star power is after those years. So that's not what makes the star.
Jerry, you might not find Hulk Hogan attractive, but I'm telling you, women want to be with Hulk Hogan.
Bro, using Hulk Hogan and heartthrob in the same sentences,
diabolical. It's not crazy.
Bro, a heartthrob.
Bro, Hulk Hogan was jacked. Hulk Hogan was a movie. When I get to this movie star debate again, Hulk Hogan was a movie. Like he was in movies. Like Hulk Hogan was him.
Yeah, the chat, they responded. They got some shit in there. They talking about Thunder Lips. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
But Hogan was him.
In the 80s, Ravishing Rick Rude was a heartthrob. You know what I mean? I just don't associate. Hulk Hogan had star power. I wouldn't associate him to be the heartthrob.
Bro, Dusty Rhodes was damn near a heartthrob. I ain't say he was a sex symbol, but people loved Dusty Rhodes.
This chat about to get crazy. It was the 70s. I'm talking about the 80s and 90s. I'm talking about 1991. People dropping. I'm not saying what happens behind closed doors. Of course, Hulk Hogan, he's the biggest star in the company.
And remember, we talked about this too.
But Hulk Hogan, when I hear heartthrob, that means they're selling you on your look. They're like marketing you. You know what I'm saying? And Hulk Hogan was never The Hulk
Bro, he
Hogan
had a whole
Hulkamania verse.
saying, the 24-inch pythons, and he was flexing and
Bro, that
ripping his
wasn't
shirt.
because he wasn't
Hulk
doing that
Hogan
to be
wasn't ripping his shirt
sexy,
off for you, Jerry.
bro. When saying Hulk Hogan was a
That was for your
heartthrob is
grandma and
crazy.
your great grandma. That wasn't for you.
Hold on, let me give you a heartthrob. Is if you're gonna sell a star on a heartthrob, let's look at some of the heartthrobs that Rick the Model Martel was sold on being sexy. Shawn Michaels was sold on being sexy.
I ain't
Right?
say sexy. I said heartthrob.
Well, what
Go
makes a
watch.
heartthrob?
Go watch those
That dude who
reactions.
played in Mask with Cher was not a
Go
heartthrob,
watch
but
the
he's a star.
reactions Hulk Hogan used to get from them women, dog. Hulk Hogan was a rock star, and he's a heartthrob.
Thank you, Mike McCullough. Thank you, man. We gotta stop just associating stuff to people. Just gotta stop
Hey,
doing that, bro. Heartthrob is a
Mike
crazy
McCullough's not a
conversation.
horseman, so he don't know what he's talking about. So I can't even.
Yo, I get the different era, but there's heartthrobs in those eras that were marketed. Okay, y'all have to look up what just because
You can
women are
market
attracted.
something. Hey, they told us Rick
Is
Martel.
LeBron James a heartthrob?
To some people, yes.
Stop. Now here's where this is gonna get crazy. To some people, yes, bro. Everybody, you
They
got people
told
out here
us
talking
Rick
about.
Martel was a
You
model.
got
Rick
people talking.
Martel didn't have a modeling contract, but Hulk Hogan was in the magazines with the tight jeans on.
No,
They told us Rick Rude was ravishing. Rick Rude was
They
jacked
told
now.
he
I
was
ain't gonna tell you.
marketed for that. He was marketed for that. I just see. I get y'all. I get it. When you do that with the whole, they just say anything and then they just start throwing. He was beating ladies, bro. Manute Bol was smashing chicks that never made Manute Bol a heartthrob.
Hey,
Right?
money will
Like
make anybody a heartthrob.
Now we're gonna move the goal.
No,
I got it.
Hulk
Y'all are
Hogan
good.
Hulk Hogan
Andre
was
the
him.
Giant. Okay, you could be him, but you're not a heartthrob.
Bro,
That doesn't mean you're not bagging.
Hulk Hogan walked out the building with Macho Man Woman. He was still in the hose.
They work together, bro. That doesn't. 1991 Hulk Hogan is not posing for ladies' magazines. Women aren't going crazy over him. We've watched this happen, and we know who a heartthrob is because we've seen these people before with Rick Martel. We've seen Ravishing Rick Rude. We've seen what happens with the boy toy Shawn Michaels, right? We've seen the reaction women give. They're marketed to women. Hogan
was
never, in
getting
the
some of those same
Hulkamania era,
reactions, bro.
Hogan was marketed to kids.
Hogan was getting some of those same reactions. Hey.
Oh man.
Shaw leader. This is your king. Horseman 97.
Hogan was getting some of the.
Hulk Hogan was getting the same reactions as Shawn Michaels. Is crazy.
Hogan is a bigger star than Shawn Michaels. What are you talking about?
So you're saying he's a big? We're talking about heartthrobs. Of course, Hogan was a bigger star. I will.
And he was getting the same reactions, if not bigger, than Shawn
Hulk Hogan was not hitting the crowd, and all these women trying to touch on him and kiss him in his cheeks, and Hogan like, yeah.
You
and
need
they're
to go watch
marketing
the
him
videos. You need to go watch the videos.
Bro, just give me a video to watch. That's
you got a whole Peacock network of videos to go watch.
Nah, bro. Hulk Hogan was marketed to kids. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins, train hard.
What's crazy is I think he was more of a heartthrob when he was in NWO.
Jerry just don't like Hulk Hogan. That's fine. He was a wrestling rock star. Rock stars are heartthrobs. I don't care how they look. Wrestling rock star.
This nigga lied. He just did not tell the truth. Okay, rock stars are heartthrobs.
Rock stars are women love rock stars, bro.
That doesn't mean they're a heartthrob.
Yes,
they're a rock star. Yeah,
a rock star is a heartthrob. You gotta get your blinders off. You just don't want to say Hulk Hogan was sexy. That's it. He was sexy. He was running. Then he did a whole show called Thunder in Paradise where he was running on the beach. That wasn't for me.
They watched. Thunder in Paradise was an action show.
He quit wrestling to go through Thunder in Paradise. It's okay.
Oh my goodness.
Hulk was not ripping
hey.
his shirt off for you, Jerry. That's okay.
So Archie, in your words, was Hulk Hogan sexy?
He was jacked. He was jacked. He had a nice body. I ain't gonna hold you. His body was nice. I'm not gonna. I mean, the man had a nice body. He had a nice body. We wasn't supposed to deny the fact he had a nice body. He was ripped. He was a bodybuilder.
See, I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying at a certain point in time,
Rick Rude
women
had
were
a nice
feeding
like
off
Rick
him.
Rude
That's
was,
all I'm gonna
Rick
say.
Rude had one of the best physiques I've ever seen in a wrestling ring.
Who?
Rick Rude.
Oh yeah. 100%.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Y'all act like we ain't watching men and see their bodies. All that homoerotic stuff y'all on, I'm not on that. I'm just saying I could see a man that works out in the gym coming from somebody who's in the gym 4 or 5 times a week and say, hey, that man got a nice body. He looks good. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, y'all, if you can find within your masculinity, that's cool. I'm not here to judge, but I can say that.
Yeah, I get you. Anyway, back to I don't even know how we got off on Hogan.
I don't know how we got here either, but I ain't say I wanted to rip Hulk Hogan's shirt off. I just say he wasn't ripping his shirt off for us. They sold him as Big Sexy. Kevin Nash.
We about to get the answer, y'all.
Yo, I'm not doing this. Last Friday, this happened. This went all the way wrong. I don't know what I just walked into. Everybody's right.
That's how we're going to end the show. Everybody right.
Everybody's right, man. Attitude Era Podcast. Now, what's the topic? Where's he at? He was here?
We even touched the
was
show.
Was he here? No.
Nah.
I didn't see him.
Night.
I think he got released. He was part of the releases today.
Well, if you didn't see him, then he wasn't here.
He was part of the releases. He could have been waiting. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Now we're talking about the releases and how the wrestling business then changed, really. So
how was the show? How was SmackDown tonight? I didn't catch it though.
You ain't missed nothing.
Yeah.
It's bad.
John Cena ain't pulled back up or no?
No, he was on the show.
No.
There was a lot of replays. I ain't gonna hold you.
Oh, so yeah, John Cena ain't pulling back up until Backlash, right?
Next week. No,
he'll be here next week.
He'll be there next week. He'll be here
the
next
day
week.
before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sell that main event with Randy.
It wasn't.
I'm mad that Jakara got released.
Yeah, y'all didn't believe me. I put it in the chat. You told me I was capping. I said, damn.
I thought you was capping, bro. She just did WrestleMania in WWE World.
See, that's a perfect example.
That's the reason why, like all those other people, they had nothing going on like in WrestleMania. So I'm like, even though it sucks, I'm like, okay, I can see why, because you wasn't doing nothing, but you was just.
And it just Orville Mensa got released too. So
I just got Jakara. That's why I was like, nah.
And she was on Stand and Deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was wild. I ain't gonna lie. What's crazy is we've been supposed to do an interview.
Franklin, where you been at? Jakara got released. Gallus got released. Dakota Kai, Cora Jade, Eddie Thorpe. Who are Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, Shayna Baszler.
Yo, this nigga looks crazy.
Not Noam Dar.
Who the hell is that?
It's a dog. Nigga looks crazy. Nice.
Ora Mensa got released. I read Nikita Lyons, but I don't know if that's true or not.
No, Nikita didn't get released. No, Nikita, they took it to what was that joint they have on Evolve? She's on Evolve now.
She's on her way out. And they've been doing releases. They've been having releases.
See, Eddie Thorpe, that one annoyed me because what was the point of having him be Trick?
He was just in the main event with Trick, yeah. And he just kind of made his debut. He's fairly new to the company, to NXT anyway.
Yeah, he should. And you had him in their main event picture. So what?
And they just broke up Metaphor Tuesday. And
now that makes sense why they did that.
Yeah, Jakairo, she.
Oh, they broke him up. What did they do on Tuesday?
They just broke him up.
Like a little post on IG, kind of like showing them splitting up.
And then this happened. So
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a good look to me, man. I think there's a lot of people they could have used to help people's storylines, and some people
and Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman got released.
Braun Strowman is crazy.
Yeah, like you need someone who's physically imposing on a wrestling show. And people are like, well, Jacob doesn't have a height like
Bro,
Braun.
Braun would have been the
Speed
perfect
Braun.
person to put in front of Jey Uso right now.
Yes, 100%.
Big
Touch these
monster.
hands.
Yo, Jay, you know what I've done in the past, and yeah, and that's a battle. Jay legit can be like, all right, this might be tough.
Yeah. You want that. You need that monster. It's not big 6'8", 300-pound people don't just grow on trees. You know what I mean? Like, so I would have always kept him. Because one thing, like in the NBA draft, they'd be like, "Oh, you can't make height." You know what I'm saying? You can't teach height. You can't teach. I get the look and stuff, but you can change a look. You can change a look. We watched several characters. Kane wasn't always Kane. Kane
There's a
went through
few
some
wrestlers
looks.
who, if they had a few more inches pause, they would be main eventers. Like you said, you can't fight your genetics.
You can't fight the genetics. You know what I'm saying? Daniel Bryan is he was a main eventer, but imagine if he was 6'3", 6'4".
Well, that's
You
the
know what I mean?
biggest thing about a lot of the NXT guys. They say they smaller
small.
guys. So
yeah. And that's another thing. Christian 179. Archie was talking about this earlier. WWE done bought up so much real estate, it's hard to find a new house.
But they're buying
It's
up
hard
everything.
to find a new house. We
Any
all say
business
AEW,
that expands too fast does not last, bro. That's just business 101. You see something expanding and you don't see it no more. Because WWE, they buying up everything.
Mm-hmm.
They buying the block, and it's like you got to do something with it.
Because guess what? AEW got a budget too, so they see this list and like, ooh, who can we get? But they also like, shit, what's the budget? Ah, shit. Y'all play Monopoly. You know how it is sometimes when you want to collect them 200 and you land on Boardwalk, you're like, damn, shit, you looking at your shit. What can I flip? I ain't got nothing. Or maybe you can pull something off. So I hope they all land on their feet because I do hate to see wrestlers get left. Wrestling is a tough
But that
business,
was my
bro.
point earlier, bro. WWE bought AAA. They're working with TNA. They got Seth, Cody's, Booker T's school. They where the options aren't that many.
You got to go to New Japan.
You go to TNA, right? Which is WWE's working with. New Japan, WWE's working with. So really, it's AEW and the MLW and maybe a bunch of indies.
Yeah, that and HOG.
And if you been spoiled by that $100,000 minimum salary, you're not gonna want to do that. In the words of the great notorious B.I.G., UPS is higher.
Braun Strowman is definitely the guy to get your monsters over too, because he did that for Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu got over off Braun. Rusev just got back. Instead of having who did Rusev?
And it's not like Braun wasn't doing that because him and Bronson Reed was cooking.
And Bronson Reed, they used him on Bronson Reed. They used him. And then Pat McAfee had his momentum going where this is a big ass son of a bitch. And you know what I'm saying? It's a big son of a bitch. So I don't now there may be backstage shenanigans that we don't know about, like,
there's a lot we don't know about.
But as far as on
DNA
camera,
on here, I didn't see Bando in the chat, man. But hey, shout out to them Knicks. Jalen Brunson had them boys on skates.
Yeah, we got to get right this next round. This shit.
I hate to say it, but that Brunson shot, it might be better than Mike's. No. Brunson had that boy on skates.
No. Mike shit is still Mike.
Mike. Brunson, Mike had the Byron Russell Brunson. That boy.
Yeah, but that was for the chip though.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, that's true.
The only person who wasn't for the chip that I'll give credit for that might be better than Mike's. Remember when Kawhi was in Toronto
and he bounced around? Corner? Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah,
he sat in the corner.
That's top 5, but Mike's is still, bro.
Yeah, but Mike's was.
I got to give Ray Allen that shot Ray Allen hit from the corner.
Yeah, but you about to make me do top 10.
That was an impossible shot, bro.
I mean,
hey, do it.
I'm not gonna. That Kyrie shot. It's been some shots, but Kawhi's was crazy because it bounced and he sat and watched.
Yeah, and there was no time left either, so it's like you waiting. What the ball gonna do?
Shout out to the Knicks. I'm a Laker guy. Anthony Edwards got us up out of here. And said Wolves in 5, baby. Then he walked around LA. That's cold.
That's cold. I like people like that though.
Giannis was wilding. He about to swing on Halliburton dad. Dad got banned.
Giannis gonna end up in the fucking Lakers somehow, some way.
Or the Spurs. He going somewhere.
If he go to Spurs, it's crazy. It's night time.
But yeah, man, playoffs is in full gear. Like I said, it wasn't much to talk about on the show tonight, really. These cuts are probably gonna. Oh, and Shayna Baszler, I don't know if I mentioned that, but she got cut too. So
I actually hate that one. I watched them misuse the. First of all, they named them the PFC, which was trash.
Shayna's one of my favorite women's NXT champions. She was crazy.
Yeah,
she has the look.
I don't know.
She has the look of a dominant woman. And she has some good matches. And she's the main, bro. You release a Shayna Baszler says, hey, I don't know what to do with somebody. But she has the look. The problem I feel like with Shayna Baszler is they don't have the look of the sexy, the heartthrob, right?
They don't gotta be that all the time. You gotta have.
With you, I 100% agree with you. We need a brolic chick that put hands and feet on people.
You need somebody that was the beauty of Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar made wrestling quote unquote legit because outside of wrestling, he did that shit. That was the beauty of Mike Tyson coming in with DX. Mike Tyson made that. Oh, Mike Tyson in there? Oh, shit gotta be real. That was Ken Shamrock. Like, you need people that can come in and remind people that, yo, this is a legit thing. Shayna had that. But like I say, that was Mike, that was Ken Shamrock, that was Brock. Like, you had people to legitimize it. Shayna was it. And they let it go.
Are y'all gonna be locked in for Backlash? That's the day before Mother's Day.
Yeah.
I'll be watching.
Yeah, I have to. John Cena and Randy, but I don't like the rest of the card. The Fatal Four.
What's the rest of the card?
Hey, it's to be determined. We don't know. It got some more releases on the way.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing.
I don't think that Roman joint is happening no time soon.
No.
We're not going to see Roman for a while, bro. Roman's out here.
I feel like that's like Money in the Bank or SummerSlam.
Yeah, by then I think
because we already got it's going to be a main event. We already got the Backlash main event. Randy Orton, John Cena.
Yeah.
We got who else we got? HP.
They just announced the Fatal 4 for the IC belt.
Fatal 4-way Drew McIntyre, for the US which belt. Is another thing. Why is Drew McIntyre now competing for the US title?
The IC title.
No, the US title.
No, it's US. It's US on SmackDown.
Oh, okay.
He going against Jacob, LA Knight, and Damian Priest. And Damian Priest. And it's like, here you are taking your top tier guys, bringing them down when you got your top tier guys not fighting legitimate contenders.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Paul is fighting Jey Uso.
See, this is where you could have put a Braun Strowman and let Damian Priest. let Drew do something else. But
Drew should be going at Jay. Drew should be going directly at Jey Uso.
Drew's on SmackDown.
That's not crazy. But now Logan Paul got the top.
And when are they doing the draft?
Oh, Logan Paul and Jey Uso.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Becky Lynch and Lyra.
And that's it, probably.
As of right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's not even a pit.
Yeah. And then next week, Jade and Nia are gonna face each other since he was #1 contender to fight Tiffany at Backlash.
Jade Cargill?
Yeah.
And Nia Jax?
Yeah.
It's gonna be Jade.
Wrestling? That's what they're doing? Like, not on, like wrestling.
It's a match.
Wrestling, crazy.
On that note, good night. Good night.
Yo.
I ain't mad at it. But yeah, man, the cuts
Drew should not care for the US title.
Yo, all the people in the chat, all the members, this Wednesday, we got the war lined up. HP, want to let them know what we're doing before we get up out of here?
Yes, sir.
We're going
This
to war,
Wednesday,
baby.
This Wednesday, you got the
Mirror,
Archie
mirror
Carter.
on the wall. This Wednesday, we go to war. We got a mirror match, man. We got
The Archie Carter.
HP do it. Let me shut up. I got it. Let me shut up.
Hold on, let me slide these pennies to the side. Hold on.
There you go.
Oh.
Hey, Bando, I just mentioned it, man. Shout out to the Knicks. We got Razor Ramon versus Scott Hall. We got Razor Ramon being represented by the Click.
The Click.
Scott Hall being represented by the Horseman 97. So all our members, all our teammates, get your homework ready because we debating why Scott Hall was better than Razor Ramon, and they telling us Razor Ramon was better than Scott Hall. So we're gonna go to war. That's the battle this Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? So y'all got homework. Y'all got homework. Look at them.
I get excited for these. You know what I'm saying? I definitely get
since
excited.
DNA is here, hey, keep telling y'all, if you're not a member, become a member. DNA say he putting together a team. So you know what that means? We're gonna need some free agents. So you still can be part of the Wednesday Night Wars. I don't know what DNA doing. I don't know who you might be on a team. DNA know people. DNA alone is enough. But saying I would hate to embarrass my favorite wrestler on the pod, but I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do it. We ain't backing down. But yeah, man, if you want to be part of this Wednesday Night War thing, last week, shout out to everybody that tapped in. We had a great time talking about who was hot and who was cold coming out of WrestleMania. They already at it. I can't say nothing about Wednesday without the chat going crazy, man. Yeah, Frank, get them up out of here. But yeah, so we have a bunch of tiers. You just need to have 8 tiers to be part of this. We have a bunch of new members, a lot of new memberships coming in, and everybody's active. If you want to be on camera, you can do that. If not, we had people talking through the chat the whole time. We had a good time, and that's what the Wednesday Night Wars is. Shout out to SCB First Lady. She was in the chat. The ladies cooked last week. I ain't going to hold you. They came in hot. They came in super hot.
Crazy. Man panties is crazy. Man panties Finn.
What's up with you and panties, bro? You got something you want to talk to us about?
They slide the panties to the side. Y'all know how I get down.
HP bugging. But yeah, the lowest tier is the transfer portal. We made it as cheap as possible because we want everybody to be a part of this. We had fun last week. I don't know who won because we was kind of agreeing with each other and disagreeing with each other. But this week, you got to pick a side. You either Scott Hall or you Razor Ramon, and we're going to argue. We're going to debate and talk about it and have a good time. But that's this war on Wednesday. The Click, you have Razor Ramon.
Razor.
And it's crazy that the Click wouldn't have Scott Hall. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? The Horsemen, we repping, and we're going to do it right. So anybody in the chat that is your Horseman 97, we got Scott Hall to defend. And the Click, they got Razor Ramon to defend. And we going that's how we going to roll. And the way we doing the Wednesday Night Wars is after we debate, we put up a poll. The poll's going to sit. People get to vote on the poll. Then next week we announce what team won. Real simple. Real good time. And that's Wednesday about 8:15, 8:30.
I'm waiting to make my debut, main teaser. Just when you don't expect it, I'll be here, man. You'll see the costume.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Unpredictable, man. He's unpredictable. That's our wild card. Every crew need a wild card. You know what I'm saying?
Draymond Green.
Draymond Green is crazy. That's
hilarious. But I bet, y'all.
All right, bro. So he putting the team together, and yeah, man. So get the membership, join in, get in the transfer portal, and you can become a free agent or be part of the next draft. We had a good time last Wednesday. You know, oh Vinny, come on. I used to like you, Vinny. What my man said, and he was like, what happened to you? You used to be beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Think with Jackie Brown. What happened to you? Used to be beautiful. Yeah, shout out to everybody that was in the chat on Wednesday. We going live Wednesday about 8:15, 8:30. We might make 8:30 the official time because I'll be pushing it on Wednesday. So we might just say 8:30, we go to war. But shout out to everybody. Chat was crazy. It was a good time. And if you in the chat right now, I'm telling you, the click, y'all got Razor Ramon. So y'all gotta convince the world why Razor Ramon was a better character. Why Razor Ramon was the guy. Why Razor Ramon?
Wait, I can't wait.
And we're gonna tell y'all why the click, why Scott Hall was better. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna tell y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because the horse, you know what I'm saying, folds up. But yeah, man, I think that's it. Yeah, I know. I mean, we still people, Vinny. It's just that on Wednesday, hey,
we gotta do what we gotta do.
Gotta do what we gotta do, man. It's an unfortunate truth that on Wednesdays brothers go to war, and sometimes Fridays. You know what I'm saying? You never know. Gamaj, Gamaj, what you just with Jakara Jackson?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was with honestly like damn near half the people that got let go.
It's you and The Rock. Y'all ruin everything.
I ain't ruined nothing, man.
I'm start calling you The Rock. Gamaj The Rock Johnson.
Look, all I'm saying is the ladies was feeling for The Rock too, so that's almost a compliment for me.
Hey, you know what? Let me stop talking because this is getting very weird to me tonight. Call Hulk Hogan sexy. I don't know what's going on.
Oh my God, that shit's crazy.
We have a good time, man. I hope y'all had a good week. Y'all ain't think forget about it, HP. But yeah, Wednesday Night Wars. We'll be back before Wednesday because we go live on Monday. Hey, look, if it's some crazy more releases this weekend, we might pop up to talk about that. We did it last time. So you don't want to miss it. Hit the notification button. If you're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, come over to YouTube. It's cracking over here. Like, we pay attention to the other chats and feeds, but YouTube is where we really do it, and YouTube is where you come to be part of the Wednesday Night Wars. And I heard HP got some T-shirts on the way.
Yes, sir.
I got another. I'm snitching. He got merch coming.
And Zell gonna get them pack of cards. I'm probably gonna send them out tomorrow. I got to go into work, so probably after
HP
work.
did a little trivia. Zell won, so shout out to Zell. Shout out to all the people that are members. Shout out to the clique. Shout out to the Horseman 97 and the Horsewomen. I'm looking forward to the Scott Hall versus Razor Ramon battle. Yeah, then the poll goes up. Then you get a week to vote, and then we'll see. I don't know what the winner gets just yet, but it's gonna be something. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. But yeah, I think that's it. I hope this week was good to you and good for you. We'll be back Monday night doing the main event of Monday Night Raw. Unless something happens, this might be a breaking news type weekend. So again, hit that notification button. And if you got something going on you want us to know about, I know Bando shout out his Twitch. I didn't see it last time because when you come on here, we ask you, hey, what you got going on? I didn't even know Bando had a Twitch. So Bando, if you're in the chat, man, let them know about the Twitch real quick so maybe we can read it out. But when you come on and you part of Wednesday Night Wars, we let you know you got something going on. We let you tell the world about it. So if you do have something going on, hit me up at the Archie Carter on Instagram and I'll check it out. You might battle rap. You might have music. You might have a cooking channel. I don't know. We want to know what y'all got going on and check and support you because y'all definitely support us. And yeah, man, that's it. You might make music. HP making an album. He might need beats. He might need graphics. I don't know. Let us know what you do. You know, Gamaj, he's a model. You got a clothing line. You got a brand. You know what I'm saying?
I got something. I got something I'm working on. Y'all want to see something I'm working on?
My man needs like a medium. I think maybe a large. I don't know.
Let me
I don't know what he was doing in Vegas. He might have gained a little weight in Vegas because my man was living WrestleMania week. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think he was coming back to the East Coast. I thought he went to DMV and changed his license and everything.
Let me show you something we're working on over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. Hey, HP trying to kill us. We gotta win this Wednesday, Horsemen and Horsewomen.
Y'all see what it is? That's 4 me's. That's 4 me's.
4 me's.
Gold. In gold. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm always working on a little something.
See, I was trying to be humble. I ain't put the 97 chains on tonight. I can't let my foot off the gas with this click. And Wednesday is all gas, no brakes. It's Wednesday Night Wars. I think that's all I got. I'm in the studio all week. So, hey, you need production, music mix, you want to feature, hey, I'm doing it. Hey, it don't cost you nothing. Just let me know. Holler at your boy. That's about it. You got anything, HP? Anything, Gamaj? I'm looking forward to Wednesday. The first official battle. Yeah, it's like that. So join the transfer portal, get you a membership so you can be part of this Wednesday Night War. DNA is putting together a team, and Z is battling. So if you're a battle rapper, you want to get on here and have a one-off with Z, and he put it's $200 on the table. They don't cost you nothing but a membership, and the cheapest membership is $1.99. Get in on this because we have a good time with the chat. We have the best chat on the internet. I say it all the time. We get a little fun. You know what I'm saying? We have a little fun. We fight, but guess what? At the end of the day, we friends. We put it back together. But yeah, shout out to SCB First Lady, came in, cook with the bonnet on and everything. You know, come as you are. You know what I'm saying?
Come as you. The doors of the church are now
The doors of the church are now open, but unfortunately, the doors of the church tonight are now closed. So unless something happens crazy in this week of wrestling, we'll see y'all Monday night during the main event of Monday Night Raw. That is King HP. That is the leader of the clique. Wednesday night, we go to war. Tap in about at 8:30. Let's just make it 8:30, man. 8:30 on Wednesdays, Monday Night War. That is Gamaj, a.k.a. Models and Bottles. That's what I call them because that's what they do. Only man on this podcast I know to shut down Times Square and have a photo shoot. I don't know how.
Gamaj is a heartthrob. Gamaj enter heartthrob.
Is a heartthrob, and that's what we're looking at. I am the Archie Carter. This is Attitude Era Podcast, and we see y'all later. You heard? Peace. Have a good weekend. Be safe out there. 8:30 Wednesday, Monday Night Raw.